sir. Yes, sir, guys. Give me a second here. Probably not for you, but for me, it's. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys. Yes, sir. Alright, guys. Yeah. Oh, we got a little bit of that in the voice. That won't do it. Will it? Yet it will not. So, hey, let me try to fix it. Hey, hey. It won't work, guys. So, we're gonna take it on the game. Alright. Yes, sir, guys. Yes, sir, guys. Yes. For anyone out there, this is. Let me just stop that. Yeah, guys. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, guys. My name is Rico, aka. No, this is not a game stream, of course. My name is Rico. I am, yeah, uh, the one that made the channel Seeking Viking TV. Yeah, this is the first ever time I am on Seeking Viking TV on Rumble and on YouTube. I have no script today. I just want to say this is something I'm gonna start with, and I will try as a person also become a better believer, follower, and yeah, study more in the Bible. And I'm thinking of maybe doing it online. I'm a very noob. I'm not a pastor. I'm nothing like that. Like that. But indeed, I am a follower, a believer, I want to learn, and I read the Bible very as it is, literally, or yeah. And I just want to say this, guys. We are living in most uh, incredible times, and there are basically two alternatives. And the scary truth, which is not scary at all, but yeah, to be honest, it is a little bit scary time. But we must remember to walk with God. Says very many times in the Bible, fear not, because I am with you. And that is one thing I'm holding dearly onto. So, yeah, I am also a gamer on Kick and Rumble, but I started with that for a long time ago, and will probably continue. But I'm started to get used to be on yeah, filming myself and speaking, getting know to my own voice. So I just thought, okay, I'll start game and yeah, get used to it by slowly, yeah, by gaming. So this is very new for me. This is kind of a test. Test. Um, my English is fairly good, but sometimes I just got blanks. But yeah, this is a test basically. But let's just make it a little uh, introduction. Welcome. Uh, yeah, welcome everyone on the chat. And you know what? Be yourself, guys. Just just be yourself. Free speech, but and be a normal grown-up person. And when I say that, I of course am thinking of just behave, just be fucking excuse me my language, but yeah, we don't want any childish stuff here. So I am not very down with that, you may say. Uh, Videos as show on Seeking a Viking will of course be a kind of a theme. That's some gaming stuff. So
Day two of creation often gets
as
overlooked.
that is the
Bonjour,
basis
mes
I
amis.
have
I just
learned,
this morning
but I will comment
about
it
Ricardo's
more and be a little bit
they're
because
claiming that they found an ancient Roman map of
um,
Atlantis
yeah,
was the island. Well,
I
scientists had a map that
yeah.
showed Atlantis
Let's
as
reason together
with a question mark.
and
Believe
search
it
for
or not,
truth in all
I
things,
wasn't sure
guys.
because it happened
And I
for a
really
long
hope
time.
this is
So
something I
I'm going
can
to tell
get
you right
people
now, the Eye of
along with.
Sahara, that is the
So
eye
yeah, guys.
of a creature.
Uh,
I'm going to prove it to you right now. All right, this is my
let
page
me
of Atlantis
let's
in
just
place, and it's
see
describing the
a little
eye
bit
of the
of
Sahara.
some
This is
videos.
very simple to understand. And that was in 2015, as I had done all my research, and there was always no question whatsoever in my mind, and I wanted to discuss it. I was destroyed for talking about it. They destroyed me for everything I did as far as the giants, the dragon, the giant fish, Atlantis, all the stuff we've been just misled about. And as Plato clearly says, he describes earthquake activity, not volcanoes whatsoever. It wasn't a volcano. It sunk into the ocean. At that time, there was an ocean there. And even here it is, right here, look. This is, well, that's the eye of the Sahara. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is an eyeball. That was an eyeball from a giant creature. Nobody can
Could be
accept these kind of
into
things.
something
Now,
most
here is
definitely.
Herodotus.
That is
Where
a
is, oh
smart
yeah, here
guy.
it is.
He
Here's
have
Herodotus.
a
Herodotus had
extremely
Atlantis over here,
high
same place.
IQ and
This was all
worked
unexplored
with
out here.
CERN, but
Herodotus was born in
one day
130
he
BC.
got a kind of calling,
Okay,
and
he was
he's
before
on the right path,
Plato.
hope,
And he
but
talked about the
it's a little
giants,
bit
he
in.
talked about the dragons, he talked
You
about
haven't
all
get
the ancient
the
things
whole
that were written.
picture yet. He is a
And
believer
Plato
in.
was after him. So,
I believe in a flat
and he
Earth.
shows
He do.
Atlantis
He
being
does not,
possibly here.
and
And these are the
uh,
pillars
but
of Hercules,
he
and
have
of course
exposed
that's
and
Italy.
find out
And this is all
extremely
they knew about at
much
that particular
about.
time.
There were
And
giants and giant
the giant
trees,
ran all the way across
giants.
here, all the way across the top.
humans, Nephilims, and
I
dragons.
know for a fact the Eye of Atlantis was, I mean, the Eye of the
A lot of very important stuff, because we are living in, as Daniel said, in last times. So that it that is what we do. We're living in the last times. So that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. See, I'm just doing something here. I frame two. Yeah. That's right. Ba, 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 ba. Yes, sir. Let's see here. Yeah, let me, yeah, listen up to Roger Jasper.
And this was from a friend of mine, Tish Egerton. She found this pretty good sized eyeball. I mean, she holds it in her hand like that.
We can
And
have.
you see, here it is right here. This is the back of it. And
The ancient.
bonjour, mes amis. I just received this.
Speaking of the day. Speaking of the days of Noah, let me ask you a question. Is this skull in my hand, this Neanderthal skull in my hand, not only is this thing bigger, bolder, badder in its brain size, much larger than ours today. Take a look right here. Take a look at the bottom of a Neanderthal skull's teeth. These aren't like your teeth. Look at the comparison of that Neanderthal skull down there compared to a little rinky-dink. Here's the Neanderthal teeth. Here's the little rinky-dink modern human teeth and human skull. Yeah. And this little Babylonian bad boy, this little guy right here covers the... Speaking of the days...
Did a lot of research on aliens and did a lot of research on aliens and aliens. They come from demons. I'll put some links in here where you can see that research, but I wanted you to see some people that are totally deceived, or at least one individual. But he's deceived with a reason. That's the scary part. Because it's the deception goes to a media outlet that basically presents it to the entire nation, and in some cases the world. This is it.
Over time and time again on these things as you're trying to get the word out that, you know, you're a pretty aware person, you know, as far as that, but you just like go, well, I'm trying to get the word out, maybe I'll get screwed, maybe I won't, but I'm just going to go for it anyway. Is that your attitude, or what?
Well, it's been my attitude. Now my attitude is I just don't want that to happen anymore, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm very reluctant to believe what anybody tells me anymore.
Right. But have you developed an intuitive sense, perhaps, now? I mean, 'cause you know how that can do. It can start shutting you down from certain experiences or certain places where you might need to be.
That's true, and to a certain extent, I have an intuitive sense of where somebody's coming from, but it doesn't always work. that's what makes a con man a good con man, is that you get the perception that they're telling you the truth.
Okay.
And so someone who's really good at it
Right.
can snow you. Or me, anyway. I don't know about you.
Hold on 1 second. Let me grab my...
Yeah, you want to wipe your face or anything?
Yeah, fine.
You got it? Okay. You all right, Robin?
Mm-hmm. Robert, you set? Yes, I am. Scott, you're set?
Yes.
Bill, you ready?
Yep.
Bill, well, thanks for agreeing to the interview. First of all, a little bit about your background. You had extensive military service for many years prior to 1970, where a certain aspect of that military service kicked upstairs, so you were able to see certain things that you were not able to see beforehand. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
It actually started much longer in my past than that. I was reared in a military family. My father's an Air Force colonel. He's retired now. He was a command pilot. And as a child, I remember sitting around I remember the pilots at our house sitting around the kitchen table talking about their exploits in the cockpit and what they had seen in the skies. And some of that talk involved UFOs and what some of them called Foo Fighters. And I traveled all over the world, lived on military bases for most of my life. I was really an indoctrinated individual, you might say. I was as establishment as you could get, as gung-ho, pro-government, pro-America, pro-military. And that's why I went into the military, because that had been so much of my life. I went into the Air Force. I was in the Strategic Air Command for 4 years as an aircraft and missile hydraulic technician, which is, I worked on the pneumatic and hydraulic systems of B-52 bombers, KC-135 aircraft, and Minuteman missiles. I had a secret security clearance. That's where I saw my first atomic bomb. I mean, we worked around in these planes, especially the ones on the alert pad, were always loaded, ready to go drop these bombs at a moment's notice. But while I was in the Air Force, I met sergeants, men who were older than me, and had been in the Air Force for quite a while, told me that they had participated in projects that had recovered crashed extraterrestrial craft, what you call UFOs. And they never told these stories unless they'd had quite a bit to drink. So I never really believed it. I thought, well, these guys are running a scam on me, even though I'd heard about these things when I was a kid. I just still didn't believe in them. They're just so far out in left field. It's not something that you really give any serious thought to until something personal happens, which came later. While I left the Air Force, I went into the Navy, which is really where I wanted to be in the first place. I'd always had this tremendous feeling and connection with the ocean. I was an excellent swimmer, but I had a problem as a child. I had chronic motion sickness. If I got in a car and we went on a long trip, I got deathly ill, and same with boats or anything. I couldn't ride on the things at the carnival that went around and round because it just made me tremendously ill. But I decided after I had gone through the Air Force experience that sick or not, I was going to go in the Navy because that's really what I had wanted to do. So I did. Volunteered for submarine duty and was assigned to the USS Tyru, SS-416, which was a diesel-electric boat, World War II type, that had been reconfigured. When I went on board the boat, it was in the dry dock at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard and had literally been cut in half. They put in a 12-foot sonar section and then 3 domes on the deck for triangulating targets using sonar. And this was really one of the most up-to-date electronically submarines that we had. It wasn't a nuclear submarine, but as far as the ability to approach, get close to a target and destroy it, it had a better capacity to do that than any other boat that we had. While we were on a transit from the Portland-Seattle area on the surface, I actually saw, I was the port lookout, and I saw the most incredible thing that I think I've ever seen in my life. And it had such a profound effect upon my view of the universe and the world that we live in, that I wish everybody could experience this. I saw come up out of the ocean, from beneath the surface of the sea, a huge disc-shaped craft about the size of a midway-class aircraft carrier, which is tremendous in size. Even though that's one of our smallest carriers, or was then, it's still a huge, tremendously big object. Came up out of the ocean and rose into the air and tumbled on its axis and went up into the clouds, and I was awestruck, dumbstruck. And I mean dumbstruck, literally. I could not utter a sound.
Just gonna
My
connect
first
to
impulse
Rumble.
was to tell the officer of the deck that it's
Ending the stream. Welcome to the stream, guys. Yes, guys. We are live for the first time. Seeking Viking TV live stream. It's gonna be a little getting used to, but it's gonna be unbelievable fun.